I see you, all dressed up in the man's finery, drinking the man's wine, playing the man's game, using the man's fork and knife.
Better to behave as a human than as a dog.
I quite like dogs.
So why does this have Gravik sounding like he's out of Top Boy? And I'm not just saying that because of his accent. I'm saying that because of the lines he's delivering. So in a surprise to no one, all of the remaining Skrulls are on Earth. So about 1 million Skrulls are on Earth. So fundamentally, like, the story really just doesn't make any sense. And what they've done with Nick Fury is nonsense. It doesn't work. They had one little scene there where Nick Fury was Nick Fury, but the whole kind of like wearing him down, having him look down bad, it just doesn't work. It just makes the show suck really bad. And then, like, the writing, they want us to root for the worst people in the universe. Does that really work? Because I don't really think it works, because there's like no gray area with these people. We're assuming that they killed a whole bunch of different people for really no reason, and they're invaders on Earth, and we're supposed to root for this. Doesn't work. So fundamentally, really what I want to say about this particular show is that the writing continues to really be piss poor. And I'm saying that as nice as possible. It just doesn't really make too much sense. The characterization of Nick Fury, and they sort of like have turned Nick Fury into potentially like a weak old man. Now, some people posit that there's going to be a reversal as the season goes on, and that we're going to see that this was just a ploy to lure people in, except that story or even that inclination makes no sense when we look at that one of his main people in his camp got blown away in episode 1. So it sort of really doesn't work, that whole idea that he's faking being this weak. Because if they were going to play that ploy, then what they would have done is they would have had most of the episode, like for example 1, they would have had him playing the little old man, and then they would have had him being more kind of active when it came to saving his friend. So, I mean, there's one incident in, episode 2 where you see like the real Nick Fury, and it only lasts like about a minute, but you're like, why wasn't he behaving like this for the last 2 episodes? And then after that, and this is a spoiler, they have him sitting on a bench like he's 85 and he's just totally out of energy. So what they're really doing with the Nick Fury character, it's not that they made a mistake, it's just totally deliberate. But considering really the main character is Nick Fury, it's not an incentive for you to look at it. There's nothing really there to pull you in. And so they do get into a little bit of U.S. history where, he's talking about segregation, and he's talking about his family. Really, to me, I don't really have any negative feeling about that one way or the other. I also don't really necessarily have a negative feeling about him and Roddy talking about being black in corporate America, being black in the government, this and that. I don't really have a problem with that aspect of the conversation. My problem would be that if I look at everything on the whole, the writing continues to not be really good. Really, I don't understand what they're doing. They have, to me, like Gravik in season, and I mean like episode 2, he's a little bit doing this roadman thing, which would be okay if we were watching a roadman show, but it really doesn't necessarily work in an espionage show. And then like the one-liners, I don't know if they're totally on par. And it just, overall for me, it's just kind of messy. And it makes me wonder, where is this going? What is this about? What am I watching?
The world is on the line. The enemy is 1,000,000 times more dangerous than Hydra, but they can only be vanquished by you, alone.
It's almost as if Rhodey or Roddy, whichever way you want to say it, Roddy, Rhodey, Rhodes is the safest one. Could he be a Skrull?
And you want me to make the power mean something by helping a brother out. But you should know better than most. The reason we wrestled this power from mediocre men who don't look like us.
So if you're going to talk about mediocre men, you got to give examples. You need to say who these people are.
It's not simply to turn around and hand it to mediocre men who do. The point of this power is to be uncompromising.
So real talk, the only reason why Sam Jack as Nick Fury looks mediocre in this particular series is because of the direction in which the writers and the director created a down bad, weak version, potentially emasculated version of Nick Fury. That's what happened. Let's not play any games.
To be unsparing. To be able to sit across from a man we greatly admire, with whom we share an entire professional, personal, ancestral history with, and to tell him without any reservation.
Are you sure? Because maybe you're a Skrull.
That he's fired. That's what this moment right here, right now is about, Nick.
Yeah, but how come this moment, this scene in this restaurant is the only scene that really looks like the Nick Fury that they created in the MCU with Samuel Jackson? Why is that? Explain it to me. Riddle me that.
He said you to fire me?
Nobody sent me. I volunteered.
Did you volunteer because you're a Skrull?
And not to put too fine a point on this, but that mess that you created in Moscow that resulted in getting one of our best people murdered, you earned all this smoke, brother.
Nah, bro, that's corny. That's corny.
Move. Are you seriously under the impression that just because you stripped me of my titles, I relinquished my DNA?
Careful, Fury.
This is the only scene, the only part of the series in which Nick Fury is Nick Fury. It doesn't matter what anybody says in the comment section below this video. That's the only scene so far where Nick Fury is Nick Fury. The rest of the scenes, they have him running around like, I don't know, some made-up character that's not the character that was originally established. It's like almost as if they were trying to completely flush the character down the toilet for some strange reason. And this is the only scene like that? Come on.
And you wonder why you're out.
I'm Nick Fury. Even when I'm out, I'm in.
So maybe all that stuff I said is just my imagination. Either way, you let me know in the comments later.